Started? Okay. All right, so today we're going to talk about character traits. I'm going to tell you what they are and how we can identify them in a story. So to start, we're going to review our story elements. We have characters, setting, plot, problem or conflict, and the resolution. So here I have all the definitions for you, but in order to make it a little easier to remember, have it stick in your head, I made up a song, chant. So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to sing the first part, and then you'll echo it back to me. And then we'll do the second part, and the same thing for the third part. So these are story elements. Stories start and stories end. In between there's elements. Character, setting, plot, and problem, followed by the resolution. These are story elements.
Stories start and stories end. In between there's elements. Character, setting, plot, and problem, followed by the resolution. These are story elements.
Characters are humans, animals are creatures, given many traits and features. They often run into some trouble, becoming the problem of the novel. These are story elements.
Characters are humans, animals are creatures, given many traits and features. They often run into some trouble, becoming the problem of the novel. These are story elements.
That problem comes with a solution. This we call the resolution. All these events make up the plot, settings, time, and place or spot. These are story elements.
The problem comes with a solution. This we call the resolution. All these events make up the plot, settings, times, and place or spot. These are story elements.
Very good. Okay. So let's move on. We're going to talk about characters. We're going to talk about their traits. So can somebody give me the definition of a trait? Yes.
A trait is a characteristic of a person shown in their personality.
Right, exactly. So if I asked you what a character trait was, what would you say, Julia?
A character trait would be the way the author, I don't know.
All right, Steph.
A character trait would be, it's a similar, obviously to a trait, but it's, in a novel, it's showing how the characters, about how that characters are based on what they do in the story.
Right, okay. So, here's the definition, for those of you who don't know Julia. Character traits are all the aspects of a person or character's behavior and attitudes that make up that person or character's personality. So, if I give you Katniss Everdeen, Julia, can you give us a character trait of Katniss Everdeen?
Brave.
Brave. Steph?
She's very stubborn.
Very good. Okay. So how can we identify them in a story? Sometimes the author will give you them directly in words, but most of the time he'll show us through that character's actions, their thoughts, their feelings. So we'll have to make inferences as readers. We will draw conclusions from the character's thoughts, feelings, and actions, as I said. So let's talk about characters from a book that we recently read from To Kill a Mockingbird. We have Atticus Finch and Scout Finch. So if I asked you for a character trait of Atticus Finch, what would you tell me? Julia? Caring. And what evidence that the author has given us can support that inference that you've made?
He's the lawyer of an African-American man in a very racist town, but he still believes in their rights and wants to help them out.
Which makes him caring. Very good. Okay. So Steph, what about Scout?
Well, I would say that Scout, besides the fact that she's young, she's very innocent because she was raised by Atticus. I guess he created a very warm environment in a very cold community because of the racism. And when she goes to school, and based on events in the book, she gets very upset by all the prejudice and she doesn't understand, which I think shows that she's very innocent.
Right. Great. So, now, in small groups, you're going to pick a different character that we didn't talk about in class from To Kill a Mockingbird, and you're going to fill out this chart. So you're going to pick a trait, and you're going to provide characters' actions or their dialogue or both. You can include page numbers, quotes, whatever you feel is necessary, and then we'll come back together as a large group and discuss them.